So hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I will be showing you how you can make a cluster launcher. As you can see here, I have a new game project made here, and if I press the left mouse button, it will shoot a bullet which will go forward and then upward after some time, and then it will split into many bullets which will fall down and explode on the ground. As you can see here, it will go up and after some time it will explode into many different bullets. See, it's very unique and amazing, and you can use this in your projects. And let's not waste much time and let's get started. So first of all, let us see what we have got here. We have our hierarchy here. First of all, we have our player game object. It consists of a capsule and a rigid body and a movement script. You can use your own movement script. I am not going to show how you can do this, and I have already made a video on this. Second, inside as a children, I have a camera game object which is used to look around in the game world using mouse, using the script, mouse look script. And inside that I have a game object gun which is just for visual purpose and also consists of our cluster gun script which we are going to write now, which will control the shooting part of the gun. So let's see what's inside this script. So first of all, we have got some variables here. It consists of transform of camera and gun tip. Next, it consists float next time to fire, which controls the rate. These two variables here controls the rate of fire. After particular time it will fire like that. So float next time to fire and float fire rate. Next, we have our cluster bullet game object. It is basically the bullet which we are going to shoot through the gun. Next, we have public, float, mag capacity, and aim speed and offset. These things are not required. You can remove this if you want. So next, we have our shoot force. It is basically the force which we are going to apply to the bullet when it's instantiated. As you can see that the bullet first went forward. So the amount of force which we applied, that's the shoot force here, so that the bullet can go forward. Next, we have our layer marks ignore, which you can use to ignore particular layers if you want. So next, we have our start, which is empty, and then inside update we are just checking if the left mouse button is pressed and the time is greater than equal to next time to fire and mag capacity is greater than 0, which you can remove. This part is not required now. So that's all. So first we are checking if the left mouse is pressed or not and time is greater than next time to fire. This part is controlling the fire rate. Actually, we are checking that if particular time has passed, then only we can fire again. And next time to fire is equal to time plus 1 by fire rate. This line calculates the time passed and at the rate at which the time will pass according to the fire rate. So this part and this part is just used to control the fire rate and the time passed. That's all. And this part is used to check whether the left mouse button is pressed. So if the time has been passed, means if it has exceeded the next time to fire time and we have pressed our left mouse button, so we can just shoot. So shoot is a function which we have written here, as you can see. So inside this shoot function we are instantiating a cluster bullet, which we did right here. As you can see, a cluster bullet game object. We will instantiate this game object at the gun tip position, and its rotation will be its identity, which will no change in rotation. It will instantiate as it is already there. So next, we are storing this as a game object variable named B, and we are getting its rigid body component and adding a forward force, which we can do by getting the camera's forward component vector and multiplying it by the shoot force, and we are setting the force mode to impulse. So that's all for the cluster gun script, and let's see how we can control our cluster bullets here. So next, before going to the other scripts, first we need to create our bullet game object. which you can do by just right clicking here, 3D game object and a sphere, and you can drag this in your project, which will create a variant of it. I'm not gonna do this because I already have made it for you here. So I have dragged it here, and I have also made a material, just it has an emission and a base map of yellow color, and I have applied this to this sphere game object which I dragged. So inside this I have done a trail renderer and some materials I have applied so that that trail effect is there. And next we have added a cluster bullet script. Let's see what's there in this cluster bullet script. So inside cluster bullet script we have some variables here. So first we have a float variable naming number of bombs, which will tell us and which we can specify to instantiate the number of bombs in the air. As you can see, few amounts of balls were instantiated in air. That's the number of bombs here. The height of the bullet means which the force it will be applied to which height it can go, and the forward force is the forward force which we can apply. So basically these two things are the forces which we will apply after some time. As you can see, as you have saw that when we first shot the bullet it went forward, then after 0.5 or 1 seconds it went upward. So that's the upward force which we are which we are specifying here, the height upward force and the forward force. And the time after to apply upward force is the 1.2 seconds which we applied. And next we have our max velocity. It's that the velocity it can reach. The timer and max time is just the time. It will calculate the time after which the upward force and other forces can be applied. As you have saw in cluster gun script, this time part, it's basically just the same thing. It will just keep on calculating the time in like how many seconds have passed, and according to that we can apply our forces. So there is a rigid body variable here, and also a bool, so that we can apply force only once. If we will continuously apply force, the bullet will keep on going upward up to a huge length, so we just don't want that. We will just apply once, and we can do that by using this bool variable. At start we are assigning can apply force to true, and we are getting the game object camera. We have also got a game object camera here and a game object bomb. Bomb is the bullets which have been instantiated after the bullet has been destroyed in air. Those are the 10 bombs that have been instantiated in air. Next we have our camera, and that's all for the variable part. So we need number of bombs, height of bullet, forward force, time after to apply upward force, and float velocity, float max velocity, timer and max time, and two game objects, bomb and camera, and rigid body, and a bool can apply forces. So these are the variables here. So next, in the start we just assign can apply force to true, and we just assign the camera variable by just finding it using the tag, by using the function find game object with tag and player, and rigid body by getting its game objects component rigid body. So in update we just start checking that if its y position is less than 0.2, means if it's closer to the ground or it's on the ground, it will be destroyed. So that's we are checking here, and then we are calculating the time, how many seconds have passed. This thing will keep on calculating, and the timer variable will hold its value. So if we are checking if timer is greater than time after to apply upward force, means the first force which we are applying is the upward force. So if the timer has reached that time, suppose 1 second has been reached, and can apply force bool is true, which we have assigned here initially to true, we will apply a upward force by using vector 3 dot up into height of bullet, and cameras dot forward force by using camera dot transform dot forward into forward force, and the force mode will be in impulse, and we will change can apply force to false. So after this has been changed to false, no other forces can be applied again. in that direction, so it will be a fluent trajectory motion. Next, we are checking if timer is greater than max time. Max time is the time at which it will split. Suppose after 3 seconds in air, it will split into 10 bullets, so that's the max timer. So if the timer is greater than the max time, then we are going to have a for loop which will go the number of bullets or number of bombs we want to instantiate, and we will instantiate the bomb game object in a new vector3 location, which is just a random position in air, just transform.position.x plus random 0 to 1. It will have a position of the initial bullet's x position plus some random value between 0 to 1. Same for z, and y will remain same, and its rotation is quaternion dot identity, which is its initial original rotation. And after the instantiation part, we will destroy this game object so that this program won't run again and instantiate more and more bullets. So just after the number of bullets have been spawned, we are destroying this game object. So that's for the cluster script. Those are the variables here, and at start we assign them. Next, we just check it is near to ground or not. Next, we are just applying the first upward force. Then we are just instantiating or breaking it into bullets and destroying the game object. That's all for the cluster bullet script. And let's see what's next for the bomb script. So for the bomb script, we just need to create an empty game object like we did for that cluster bullet before. Just create a sphere, not an empty game object, just create a sphere, drag it in your project part, name it whatever you want. I have named it bomb, and then add whatever effects you want like trail renderer and something emissions, etc, etc, and just add a bomb script, and we are going to see what's inside this. So inside bomb script we have 3 variables: rigid body, max velocity, and a bomb effect which will spawn at the end of the ground. And at start we are getting its rigid body component, and in update we are just clamping its velocity to its to max velocity, and we are checking every update that if its position is its y position is less than 1, which implies it's near to the ground, we just want to instantiate that blast effect and store it as a game object A and destroy it after 1.5 seconds, and as well destroy the parent game object also. Like this bomb game object will be holding the script will be also destroyed. And that's for the script here. All the scripts will be linked in the description, and you can get that from the description part of the video. So let's see how we can use all these scripts in our game object. So inside the gun, I have the cluster script. We made that cluster gun script. We will just attach it here by dragging it. Assign the camera, this FPS camera to this, and inside the gun I have a game object, as you can see here, empty game object. It just has a transform, that's all, and position it at the gun tip, and then drag it to the gun tip position. Assign fire rate of 1 or lower if you want more faster rate, and the cluster ball which you made here, the first ball which we made here, and drag and drop, assign it to the cluster bullet, and mag capacity not required, and then shoot force to almost 60 or 70. You can change the values here. And next, after assigning this to the gun, we will go to the cluster ball which we made first. So inside that, number of bombs or the number of bombs we want to instantiate in air, I have put a value of 20, and the height force and the forward force, I have put a height force of 100 and the forward force of 10, and the time after to apply is the first, and this force will be applied after 0.2 seconds of its instantiation. And max velocity I have set it to 100 so that it won't go a much faster velocity than this. And max time is like 2. After 2 seconds after instantiation, it will split into 20 bullets, as you can see here. And the bomb game object which we made at last, this sphere bomb game object, which we will drag and drop and assign it here. And camera game object no need to assign because we are using find game object with tag here, as you can see. Using find game object with tag player, so it will find automatically, and can apply force, let it be there. And next we will go to the bomb game object. Inside this we will have max velocity of 100 and a bomb effect, which you can use any type of effect, just drag and drop it. You can use any explosion effect or any other thing. And one more thing, just to every game object that you made here, like cluster ball and the bomb, add the rigid body component and interpolate to interpolate. Okay, this thing is necessary, otherwise it won't fall or go anywhere, it will get stuck in mid-air. And the final part, just go to the camera game component and go to the tag part, drop down, add tag, then you press plus here, name it player and save it with P capital or whatever tag you named it here. As you can see, I have named it here player. Same thing you need to write it. Same thing you need to write it in this part, and then just save. Then again go back to camera, drop down the tag part, and then just click on player or whatever name you assigned it here. And then that's all. When you will play, you can now just click and this thing will happen. It's amazing actually. I hope this video is actually helpful, and if you are still facing difficulty, please feel free to ask in comment section, and hope it's helpful to you. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to give it to me, as I am new and I hope I can make these videos much better for you. And if you have any suggestion for next videos, it will be very helpful for me. And that's all. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.